Yins, guys. Thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. Today is June 26th. Oneil Cruz is here, and he's a freak. We got to see all the tools in action very quick, and also Bligh guy making waves too. But rehab assignments are in full force. Let's get into some of the decisions upcoming. Plus, we have some news to break during the episode as well. Let's go Bucks. My name is Josh, and I'm joined as always by my brother, Jake. What's up?
How we doing, man?
Doing pretty good. Still kind of getting used to my new Roadcaster. We've had some hiccups really getting started late here. I think there's some bugs to work out.
Yeah, a little bit.
Maybe
That's
audio
all right.
equipment isn't the thing you want to pre-order. No, I don't know.
It happens.
Dude, what a week.
Yeah.
I mean, taking 3 of 4, we said last week we should be able to do that from the Cubs.
Yep.
But we knew that heading into Tampa was going to be rough. And it was rough. But we're in all those games.
Yeah, they were winnable games. It's just growing pains of a young team.
That's it. All right. Let me get through some Bucks Clippers, some transactions, because once again, no difference. There was a lot.
Yeah.
Monday was obviously the big day. Oneil Cruz gets called up. Bligh Madris, we knew this going into it, but he was selected, the contract activated. Liover Peguero optioned to Altoona, and Zach Thompson placed on the 15-day IL, which turned out to be pretty important for this week. And then on Tuesday, acquired left-handed pitcher Eric Stout from the Cubs for cash. Bucket of sunflower seeds. You know how they say.
Yeah.
He was optioned to Indy. And part of our discussion tonight, they sent Kevin Newman, Yoshi Tsutsugo, and Josh Van Meter to Indy for rehab assignments. We'll get into that later. Wednesday selected the contract of Jared Eichhoff, designated Heath Hembry for assignment. I think a lot of people were asking for that.
Right.
Also transferred Marisnik to the 60-day injured list to make room for Eichhoff on the 40-man. Thursday sent Ben Gamel to Indy on a rehab assignment. Keep counting them. And Friday selected the contract of Austin Bryce and activated him and designated Jared Eichhoff for assignment. Saturday, yeah.
See ya.
Go ahead. What did Jared Eichhoff do for us in 2 days on the roster?
What was it? 10 runs and 4 1/3 inning?
Yep.
That was rough.
But he struck out 4. I'm kidding. There's something too. I don't have it in front of me, but there's something too about the fact that his last outing for the Mets also was 10 runs. And I think that's some kind of record. Keep grinding.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it to him that he was able to even get through 4 1/3.
Yeah.
After giving up 8 in the first inning or something like that.
I actually have this up right here. 7 in the second inning, 2 more in the fourth.
Inning, okay. Yeah.
And then 1 in the fifth, and before he was yoinked. Then Saturday recalled the Bucks transaction page. We know how much we love it. It says recalled Max Kranick from Indy and then transferred from 7-day IL to 60-day IL. So basically he went to the 60-day. So that opened up another spot on the 40-man for that situation. Or maybe he was already off the 40-man because of the 7-day IL. Like maybe it was a COVID related thing. Either way, I don't really know. And then today, Jared Eichhoff actually was sent outright to Indy. Surprise, surprise. Nobody claimed him. Heath Hembry was actually just released. So he's not going to Indianapolis. He's gone. And number 5, sent Tucapita Marcano to Bradenton for a rehab assignment. So there you go. There's our Bucks Clippers and our 600 transactions for the week. You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's get into it, man. Oneil Cruz is not just the talk of Pittsburgh right now.
He's getting national attention right now.
Talk of the league. I mean, I listened to probably 5 different podcasts that were talking about Oneil Cruz this week. Just
yeah. I mean,
freaking out.
Yeah. Dude, I went to work. I work with a couple guys that are like Guardians fans, and they're still like, dude, that guy you guys brought up is a freak.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is, man. Here's the thing. I mean, we all have heard it. We've heard the narrative. It's been there all week. We know exactly what he accomplished. We know exactly what he did. By the 3rd inning on Monday's game, he had the hardest hit by a Pirate. He had the hardest throw by any infielder in baseball this year. And I'm pretty sure it was the hardest throw. It was the 3rd hardest throw ever in StatCast, which is what, 2015? I think is
Something
StatCast.
Like that,
And the only other person is Tatis Jr., who's thrown harder. Both of the other throws. Yeah. So we're talking, he's in elite company right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then to top it all off, he has the 3 fastest sprint speeds by a Pirate this year. But not just like, sure, 3 of them, which is wild. Yeah. But like the sprint speeds are elite. Like he's up there with like Trey Turner. That ain't right. That can't be right.
Well, they were doing a comparison with him and Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill. The Colossus of... Wait.
Yeah.
The Colossus of Clout.
The Colossus of Clout.
The Sultan of SWAT.
Such a good movie.
If you guys don't know Sandlot, man. Anyway, yeah. That's the part that surprised me.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, he hits the ball so
fast. I knew he was fast, but I didn't know he was that fast.
I didn't know that this was a thing, that he was going to be hitting 30 feet per second on sprints.
Right.
Like, I just didn't know it was going to be that fast.
I mean, he has to take 3 less steps per foot.
I knew that was coming. And you're not wrong. And you're not wrong.
But still. No, that's elite. That's insane.
RBIs in his first 6 games of his career, the 2 and then 4, the 2 last year, and then his first 4 this week. 1 away from ML. I mean, I thought it was also funny that when you started going through these types of things, much like, and I'm not comparing Oneil Cruz to Shohei Ohtani, other than the fact that he's just a freak. It's just weird. It's just another thing you haven't seen in a long time. So all these weird name guys from the 1920s and before are coming up. Cookie somebody did this last, and you know what I mean? Like, just these weird names that he's accomplishing these things. Always brings up those old ones, which is a lot like what they do with Shohei, and you're like, oh, yeah, they're going to do that. So, but even just things like Thursday, that wild 7, the 7th inning in that game was pretty crazy for me because Sawinski has the ball. Nico Horner hits the ball that Sawinski, I guess you could still call it, he robbed a home run. That ball looked like it was gone.
Oh, it was way gone. Like, he was up over the fence by like 1.5 feet, 2 feet.
So he crashes into the wall, and then the ball pops back out. He saves the home run, which saves a run. It's 6-2. And he still gets to second. There's 1 out. And essentially a base hit up the middle, scoring a run. And Oneil Cruz lays out, pops up like he's 5'10", and throws a dart across the infield. The runner gets to third, but I'm like, now there's 2 outs. And they got the next guy, and I'm like, that's huge. You keep a 4-run lead in the 7th inning. Granted, they gave up 5 runs in the next inning and blew it, and then we had to come back and walk it off. But the point is in that moment, he saves us a run defensively.
Mm-hmm.
And, defense was one of the things that we were talking about. Like, maybe this is going to be interesting. And it hasn't been. I mean, there's been a few plays that Michael Chavis has saved him,
Yep, for sure.
but it hasn't been like skying it
Could
into
you
the
imagine
net.
though? Could you imagine being the first baseman in this situation? The ground ball hit the Oneil Cruz. I'm 5'10" at best, and Michael Chavis, and I know this dude's gonna rifle the ball at 97 miles an hour, and not 100% sure if it's gonna be real close to the bag or not.
Yeah.
I mean, so far it's been all right, but you know what I mean. I mean, he's got a history.
Yeah.
Chavis has got to be over there like, oh gosh, where am I gonna have to go for this one?
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, they've been pretty much on the bag so
Sometimes I
far.
wonder if, here we go, Debbie Downer, Mr. Negative, when it comes to Yoshi. But I wonder if he's catching some of these.
Dude, I don't know.
There was already a couple. There's no way he makes a play on them. But even that 197, I know it was right to him, but I just wonder if he catches it. Like, that's how I feel about his defense.
I'm sure he will, but
Well, if he's back on the Pirates,
the
we'll talk
tough
about
ones,
that later.
the tough ones, he might not get.
Still waiting for that first home run, though. Isn't that interesting? All the home runs hit this week, and you would think Oneil Cruz would have had one of them.
Right.
He's waiting on that, but I mean, that might have been Thursday, it might have been Wednesday when he reached down low and away and hit that ball, and I was like, how did he do that? And then
he hit it and he pulled it into the gap.
Well, it was, yeah, kind of, mostly dead center, but it was like when he hit it, I was like, there's a base hit. And then I was like, oh, that might carry to the outfielder. No, it hit the wall.
Oh, that one.
And I'm like, how did that even happen?
Yeah.
Dude.
Just keeps carrying off his back.
I watch a lot of baseball. And some of this stuff is throwing me off. Much like kind of like 2019 when a guy would hit a ball and you'd be like, there's no way that went out.
Yeah.
That's just the way. It's like they only bring in the 2019 balls when he's up. That's not true, but he hits balls every once in a while. Like that one that went off the wall in center field. I just have no idea how he got that much on it when he's just reaching for a ball.
Yeah.
And that just makes you think. That just makes you wonder, what's it going to be like when he gets into one that he should get into? How far is this thing going to go?
Right.
Like in spring when he hit that one on top of the building.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to hit multiple balls into the river on a fly.
Hey, how far does it have to go?
If it's, what was it? If it's right down the line, it's like 437.
You think Sawinski's goes in?
443.
Yeah, but it wasn't right down the line.
No, but
it shoots out pretty quick.
Yeah, that one, I think it lands in the river on the fly.
Wow. I forget what the distance has to be.
Smashed.
Yeah, he hit that ball hard. We'll get into him. I'm just kind of looking over my Oneil Cruz notes. Anything stick out? Anything else stick out to you? I don't want to not talk enough about it. I'm dead serious.
Right.
Like, it's that ridiculous.
It's insane.
I know he's a good player. I knew he was going to be exciting. There have just been things that have still surprised me.
There was the tag at second base. Like, because I was a little nervous about covering a base on a steal, being that tall, and being able to get down and put a tag down. I mean, he's just right in there.
Well, that's actually interesting because you think about this. You think about the tag today with Diego Castillo when he whiffed on the tag, and you're thinking,
yeah,
dude, with the length of his arms, does he get to that quick? Does he get that tag down quicker because of the length of his arms?
Well,
or is it harder because he's standing higher?
Right. No, I mean, he gets down in there though with what seems like no problem. So I mean,
well, let's go.
Here's the problem with that tag though, and I want to talk about that tag for 1 second here.
Actually, let's do that, and let's just say, like, let's shift from Oneil Cruz, and we just want to bring up like some individuals, and we were going to start with Bligh Madris, but let's start with Diego Castillo because I'd like to know where you're at with that tag, and then we'll go into some other things here with Castillo when you're done.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bad tag. It was a bad effort, in my opinion, because, well, it's middle infield 101. You don't reach for the body to tag him. And I was watching the telecast, and Wayner and I think Greg Brown. And Greg Brown says, "What do you do in that situation as an infielder? Like, is there anything?" He says, "Well, you tag the person. You tag the runner." He's like, "Well, he was trying to tag the runner." Like, and John Wayner's like, "I don't really know what else you do." And I'm sitting there yelling at the TV. I said, "Tag to the base. Like, you have to get to the base. Don't go reaching for him. Put the tag around the base and then tag what comes to the base." I mean, he started to go for the arm because the arm was coming in. When as soon as he moved that arm out, he should have kept going to the base with the glove instead of reaching out towards the runner. If he does that, he catches that other arm, his right arm, and he tags him out. It's no big deal because he was out by 4 feet.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even close.
Right.
You can't let him get to the bag on that. And Derek Shelton even said it after the game. He said it's going to be an organizational thing. We got to get our guys tagged to the base. He said the player is not stationary. The player is moving. The base is stationary. So no matter where the player goes, he's got to get to the base, and the base ain't moving.
So the thing is, though, I think I agree with that, obviously. Like, I think this is pretty factual. But I think that there's still some credit to be given on the slide in general.
Oh, I mean,
you're throwing guys off. Yeah. So I get that. And I still think there's a chance. He could get the right hand in before the glove gets to the right hand. But the problem was he didn't go to the right hand. He went to the body.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, I get that. I think that I don't know that we know he would have been out because it was a great slide. And his hand was still 1.5 feet from second base, his left hand, when he tucked it. And then his right hand was on the back of the base. So Castillo still had some distance to go with the glove. But, yeah, I mean, the strategy was wrong. I think, I just don't know that he isn't safe anyway. But you'll never know.
No, you never know
because he didn't go to the right hand. He didn't go to the base. You know what I mean? So I get that. But Diego Castillo with a little bit of pop. 3 home runs this week and 5 since June 13th.
Yeah, and we knew he had that in him. Hopefully, like, he's making the adjustment that the league has made to him. You know how that back and forth cat and mouse game goes. So hopefully he's seeing something different.
Yeah, the one thing that I wanted to point out a little bit is each month going from, because he was there day one, from April to May to June. He already has more at-bats in June than he had in any of the other months. So with every month, he's gone up. I think it's like 59 at-bats and then 60-something, and then now he's like either approaching or over 70 at-bats. And with every month, he had 1 home run in April, 1 home run in May, 5 home runs in June. They've all been since June 13th. But during that process, he had 260 in May. He had 215. I don't have it pulled up right now. I forget what it was in May. I'm sorry, April. And then May went down. And then now so far in June, it's like 190. Or no, it would have to be less than that because his average is now below the Mendoza line because each month his average goes down. And so we've seen like a power surge here recently, but the average is dipping so far.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there was a little bit of, maybe like an oh crap moment because he's starting to think they bring Cruz up. I might be out of here.
Right.
And we'll talk about that later, but we need to, maybe we'll keep this in mind and talk about this a little bit later when we talk about our rehab assignment guys, because he may still be on that list with the average going down and down and down.
Yeah.
So another player, and we'll go right into this guy because I think that we need to bring it up sooner than later. The other call up Monday was Bligh Madris, and Oneil Cruz gets all the fanfare.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Fittingly so. What he's doing is different. I'll say it that way. It's very different.
Mm-hmm.
But Bligh Madris is just hitting the ball. 3 hits Monday, hits his first bomb Tuesday. Bases clearing double in the 9th on Wednesday. I understand it's garbage time, but I don't care. It was a real pitcher out there. 0 for 4 Thursday. Got Friday off. Comes right back with the double, or with 3 more hits on Saturday. And hit another double today, hitting 360 in his first week in the show.
Yeah.
2 3-hit games.
His approach is very solid.
And we saw that same thing from Sawinski when he came up. We saw that same thing from Cal Mitchell when he first came up. We're seeing a lot of these guys with good approaches.
The only difference between Bligh and the other two that you mentioned is he's getting results right away.
Yeah, you're right.
Mitchell and Sawinski didn't get the instant results, but you were watching them and they're not overmatched. Like they're having good at bats. They're putting good wood on the ball, and it's not falling. Like his are falling.
Yeah. And speaking of Sawinski, well, Bligh, yeah, dude, that's a great showing. He's made a couple plays defensively too.
Didn't he steal base?
I don't know, maybe.
I think he has a stolen base in there too.
I'll trust you on that one. But yeah, then moving on to Sawinski. This dude he's punching back.
Yeah, he is.
And he's gotten the most of the opportunities. You know what I mean? Like he got called up late May, maybe a few games, 3 to 5 games. So it was just like getting his feet wet kind of thing. April. I said May again, didn't I?
Yeah.
Meant April. Yeah. But played 26 games in May, so far 23 in June. May, he hit 195 with 5 homers, and we saw some of that. Like, he's not getting those results, like you said. June, so far, he's hitting 243 with 7 home runs. So the power's still there. I mean, consider a 3-homer game boosts that up.
Sure.
But that home run he hit today was a bomb.
Yeah.
But in June, his on-base percentage is 341. And I'm pretty sure May it was like 289. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
341 is like, he's fine.
He's
an everyday player.
Absolutely. He's hitting the ball so hard. Even some of the balls that he pulls down a line that are foul. I mean, he's just so hard off the bat.
31 strikeouts in the 23 games. But if you're hitting for power and you're getting on base, you're an everyday player.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I'm not putting the guy in the All-Star game. I'm not saying he's winning a Silver Slugger, but he's a valuable player. Like, he's fine. Like, he's an everyday player in the major leagues. You still need your stars.
He's gonna be in the talks for Rookie of the Year. He has to be, if he keeps this up.
Yeah, and we've talked about that before. The NL Rookie of the Year race is Mackenzie Gore's, unless he falls apart. Like, there's not a whole lot. You're going to have to... Anybody could search. I mean, Oneil Cruz still has a shot because nobody's running away with this thing.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder for a pitcher to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they start talking about innings limits because he's young and things like that. It's really hard for a pitcher to get it.
Yeah.
Unless you're Shohei and you come in 23 years. You know what I mean?
Right. We talked about this earlier. There's a couple of guys who are actually talked about preseason. This could be a rookie of the year, and I mean they're getting sent back to the minors. Joey Bart for the Giants. His name was brought up in discussions in like preseason stuff, and he had big shoes to fill though. That's tough.
Yeah, and it looked like, I don't know. I always wondered because he hasn't had good showings so far. So I questioned him, but I was actually trying to look while you were saying that to see if I still had. I do. I still have our notes from when we did our predictions, and I wonder if did we do that this year or did we kind of run out of time? We've got rookie of the year here, but I don't know that we did it. It looks like I've got Keibert Ruiz on mine. But I don't have yours written down, so I'm not really sure if we even went that far.
Yeah.
Anyway, doesn't matter. Sawinski's in there. That's why rookie of the year, it's so unpredictable.
Yeah.
You just never know. All right, I just got a couple things here. Brian Reynolds has come through with runners in scoring positions a couple times this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Just another sign that he's getting right. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's good. And hey, Roanzi today, 4 walks in the 1 inning, walks in a run. Yeah. And that's all like he didn't have his stuff today. And his line ended up 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. 5 walks. Now 4 of them in 1 inning, that's the run.
Right.
His stuff is that good that he can go out there in a game where he wasn't great and kept the team in it and went 5 with only 1 run. I thought that was really good because, I mean, obviously we know when Jared Eichhoff doesn't have his good stuff, he gives up 10 runs. Just showing you the difference.
Yeah.
In a guy who has a legit arm and legit stuff where it didn't look great today. And a lot of times it didn't look great and still got away with it. Still made pitching ninja videos with his slider. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you have anything? Do you have anything else? Just like a little individual. We've got like a couple minutes here before our typical break. But was there anybody that kind of stuck out to you this week?
Not really.
Not really.
I think we've. I mean, like, obviously the ones we've talked about. Trying to think.
We talked
I
like
think Cal. I think Cal Mitchell's starting to. I think he's starting to press, and I think he's starting to get a little bit lost. I think we've been taking a few at bats away from him, which with Madris playing the way he is and Sawinski playing the way he is, it's understandable.
Hey, you know what? That's another good point there. We had a lot of complaints about lineups early in the year.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen Vogelback at leadoff, which was our biggest one.
Right.
And Yoshi's out of the lineup because he's hurt, so that's another good one. But Shelton is a lot more often riding hot hands.
Mm-hmm.
He really is.
Yeah.
And I'll say this. If ever we get a catcher anytime soon, I'm okay with Heineman being my backup. I'm starting to like the guy a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I said that the other day. I was like, I know he's still a light hitting catcher, but I kind of like the guy.
I mean, I certainly, that's not who I want to go to battle with as my starting catcher every day.
Sure.
But, he shows some things. I mean, it would be better than anyone else we've seen there this year.
Yeah.
As a backup. So, all right, let's take a break. And, man, we've got Yeah, we've got a lot. But blah, 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 blah. Let's go. Thanks for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2 Buctober. Audio podcast available on your favorite podcast platform. Video podcast available on YouTube. Follow us on the socials and subscribe to the podcast. If you're on Apple Podcasts, take a couple minutes for a review. We'll be right back. Swearingen Bat Company is Ohio's premier wood bat company, specializing in custom wood bats to meet any need from T-ball to senior league. Check out their website at swearingenbaseball.com. Link is in the show notes. Twitter and Instagram at Swearingen Bats. You can also find them on Facebook. Swearingen Bat Company, that's swearingenbaseball.com. Let them know you heard it here. We are back. Bridge to Buctober podcast. Thank you guys for listening all the time. Thank you for commenting and being active and all that good stuff and talking to us. And we are pretty excited about something. Had a couple questions saying, can we support you at all? And we've just been having some fun with some stuff. So yeah, we're opening up a little store. Do you say storefront? Like, is that what it is? I mean, I guess that's what it is. It's like a web store. We got some merch. Yeah. We're going to sell a little bit of merch, have a little fun with it. Right?
Yeah.
So we're going to have some shirts that you guys can get. And it's pretty fun. We've been working on it for, I don't know, a little over a month now.
Yeah.
Just kind of keeping it, slow and figuring out all that we needed to figure out about it. But anyway, hey, this is one. Wait, how do I do this? Right here? Let's go box.
Scale box.
And you got a shirt on, right? We had to get these. Like, I wanted to make these so we knew what the heck was going on and made sure that these shirts were good. But also, if you're on the, so obviously for those of you who are listening to the audio, you're gonna have to tune in to the YouTube for just a minute. Basically, I have just a black shirt and it says S''go, like SCO Bucks. It says Bucks. He's got one that says Yin's Guys on it. But so what I have on the screen on the YouTube here, and if you're listening to the audio, basically I'll try to explain everything. If you've ever been to our Linktree link that we put up on all of our things, there's now a selection on there that just says Bridge to Buctober merch. And you can go onto that and it'll take you right into the store. And basically there's a list of designs. You just click show all designs. They're all there. We've got, logo stuff. We've got a couple Yin's Guys. We've got a SCO Box one. We've got a little Zip Zap Kazoo, the Bucko's turn too. Because he's just saying it all the time now. And of course, an ode to Oneil Cruz with the He Is Here. But you just basically click on one of those designs and it'll show you a bunch of different shirts and different colors that you can get that shirt in and stuff like that. But you guys feel like, and we can add to this like literally anytime we want. It's really easy to do that. So basically let me know what you want because we can make it pretty much. We can do it.
Yeah, I mean, I was at Josh's,
yeah,
last night, and we were working on one. We started a design that we're pretty excited about. So
yeah,
I'll let you know when that one drops too.
So anyway, it's pretty exciting, pretty fun. We're gonna have fun with it. That's the thing.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna have fun with it. I did have one. They got denied. It got rejected because of trademark stuff. But if you tune into the YouTube, and we're not going to talk about it because, but if you turn into the YouTube, I'll show it off a little bit here. And we're not allowed to sell that one. I was able to order a test of it to see before they rejected it. So that worked out.
We both got one of those.
Yeah. And then here's just a logo sweatshirt.
Mm-hmm.
So just
the inside of that is so soft. It's the premium sweatshirt, and Josh's wife got that, and I was feeling the inside of it, and dude, it just feels like it's going to be so comfortable.
And, stickers, I guess, and some other things. The hoodies are cool. But if you guys want to, we get a little bit from it. So it will help. It will help support some things here. And hopefully we can do some cool things that everybody would like to have.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Ke'Bryan Hayes played today. I started to get a little bit nervous.
Yep.
But I just wanted to do, and I know this won't take long, but I just wanted to do a little bit here. I don't know. Where are you at with this whole, with the play, with everything? I just want to know maybe where your thoughts are on just the big picture of things. I want to know where you would narrow down, because it was an injury scare and he didn't play for a couple days.
Right.
Is there a Ke'Bryan angle you go to this? Is there a dude you can't slide head first into home? Is it always just I'm worried about it? Do you think maybe it was dirty? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, what was your thought? What did you think when all of this went down?
So I didn't get to watch the game that night, and I briefly saw, at first I didn't even know who scored. That's how little I saw it. So when I found out it was Ke'Bryan, because I kind of saw the slide a little bit and saw that he was, people were around him, but I didn't see who it was. And when I found out it was Ke'Bryan, I was like, oh, he's going to the IL. I just feel like he's a little fragile, and bad things just have been happening, and I feel bad for the guy. It's not his fault. You get hit in the hand, you're got a good shot of breaking a bone in that hand. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's bad things have been happening.
So you thought a bad thing happened?
I thought bad thing happened. I didn't watch the play over and over again, so I can't say anything about it, whether it was dirty or not.
Listen,
I do tend to tell the players that I coach, you probably should steer clear of sliding head first into home.
I mean, it was always a thing. You don't do it. Now, I think there are scenarios where you can, but it has to be a scenario where you're going wide and reaching for home.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only... He went directly into home head first.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that it's foolish if it was a balance thing, or if that was the way that he could get in there the quickest to win the game, then kudos, man. That's the kind of guy that you want on your team who's willing to do it. At the same time, you're but you can't. You know what I mean? I'd rather you play. If this was a pennant race, or, a wild card game or something like that, anything in the playoffs, obviously, dude, I'm down. Get that run and win that game. But we are a team who's going to flirt with the 70 win marker in June. Not in June. 70 win marker, and it's June.
Yeah.
I don't know. But how do you turn that on and off? So maybe that's just hindsight's 2020. Because you can't. You go out there to play to win the game. You don't think about, oh, well, wait a minute, we might lose 100 games. I'm not going to slide in head first. That doesn't go through your head.
Right.
So this is a hindsight thing. You'd rather not see it happen. But Wilson Contreras, throughout his career, has been somewhat dirty.
Mm-hmm.
He has a little bit of a reputation.
Absolutely.
I believe there was a time last season where something was happening. I don't remember what it was. And I don't know if it was you and I or if it was somebody else, but kind of having a conversation about how we thought he looked like he was maturing a little bit. There was a couple things he did that were maybe a little more respectful than what you would normally see from a guy like him. He still has his flair when he hits his home runs and whatnot, and that's fine. A lot of people do. But I'm just not sure that it's the same player. Also, he looked concerned after the play. And so I just don't think, like, he's going to the ball. He wasn't like trying to take him out. He's probably not thinking he's going to slide in head first anyway.
Right.
I just don't think it was dirty. And there was a lot of talk about it being dirty because it's Contreras. And I'm kind of like, I'm not going to argue with that person because he's given them the reason to say that.
Sure.
But ultimately, I do not think it was dirty play. Then another video came out of him kind of swiping the leg of, not swiping, but sliding into the leg of Oneil Cruz at second and saying, same guy who did this. And I'm like, let's not get too far. Like, he has to break up a double play.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. He didn't slide way beyond second base. And Oneil Cruz didn't even try to turn the double play anyway. He caught the ball and he stood there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know where I'm at. I also don't want him sliding into Oneil Cruz's leg. But at some point, we have to say you have to be able to make contact. Not in the catcher position. Ke'Bryan Hayes made contact with Contreras on that play. Really. Because Contreras is just trying to field the ball.
Yeah.
But at second, it's like, I don't know, man. I'm still a fan of taking out the shortstop and second baseman and breaking up the double play. I feel like it's part of the game.
Yep.
I think there's ways that you can do it super terrible. Like if your leg's up in the air. His leg went like literally right over second base. Like he slid into second and then it like went right over second. He didn't have it up in the air. He didn't sweep it off to either side. He went directly into second base, which is within the rules even now when we've taken away that play. But you still kind of wonder because it's him.
Yeah, track record.
Still kind of wonder. But luckily, I did not look like he was favoring anything. It didn't seem to be an issue. It seems like he's fine.
Yeah, he was just sore.
He was just sore. All right, meat and potatoes here. We just named 5 players earlier who are on rehab assignments. You got Ben Gamel, Van Meter, Yoshi, and Newman all in Indy. And today they just sent Marcano to Bradenton. Marcano was just a COVID IL guy.
Yeah.
So you wonder, like, this might have taken him down. So you're talking about conditioning a little bit for him, if that's even what happened. And I don't know if it was released, and I don't think it's allowed to be released, whether he had it or was in contact, or I don't think that's, I think it's like a legality thing. I don't think that we talk about that, right?
HIPAA.
Huh?
Like a HIPAA regulation.
Yeah. So anyway, he's going clear to Bradenton. So his might be like, it could be like, yeah, he just needs a couple days and he's back up.
Yeah.
Or it might be, now he might need like a week or two because of fatigue.
Yeah. Get evaluated down there.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier to kind of go like blend in. If he is weak, then you don't want to show up at AAA and, you know what I mean?
Right.
Not only that, but you're also trying to rehab Van Meter and Newman and Gamel. And those are positions that he plays, left field, middle infield.
Yep.
So you're kind of saying like, well, he's got to play. So I wonder though, because we've got 5 guys who are eventually going to make their way back to this team, or are they?
Right.
So let's break it down. Who's here? Who's on their way out? Who can go? I've got first choice, I think, for everybody is going to be Yu Chang.
Yeah.
No options. So this guy is a DFA candidate at this point.
Yeah, I think it's an easy decision too.
So Yu Chang goes down when? Because all these players may not come at the same time.
Sure. But I mean, we'll just say when Newman comes back.
So you think Yu Chang and Newman is the switch?
Yeah.
Okay. Hoy Park he's already been optioned this year, so we're already using one of his option years, and he has all 3. So it won't affect him as far as his option years goes because we've already used one, and it lasts the whole year.
Right.
Hoy Park's a pretty good candidate to be sent down. You just talked about Cal Mitchell.
Yeah.
and how it might be a good time for him. They punch back. Now would be a good time to take what he's learned.
Yep.
That's the one thing about Swaggerty that I didn't feel like he got an opportunity to learn something first.
Right.
And that was my beef with that one. And Caden Smith and Jigba. Now that's an injury, but he also didn't really get a chance to learn something. Kyle Mitchell's had a handful of at-bats, like enough to say, I know what I need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
To me, him and Yu Chang are the easiest ones. And I think Ben Gamel goes, when Ben Gamel comes back up, I think he definitely comes back up.
Yeah.
And he switches Cal Mitchell. The other two are Bligh Madris, if it's not Cal Mitchell. The most recent call up, which was similar to the Swaggerty situation. And then Diego Castillo, who I just talked about, the average keeps dipping down.
Right.
And I think that he could be an option. If all of these guys are going to come back, there's only one of these guys that I just named that is not getting sent down. I had to get there.
Yeah.
The guys coming back are Yoshi, Van Meter, Kevin Newman, Tucapita, and Ben Gamel. So if all of those five come back, I just named 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4. I actually only named 5 guys. So there might even be somebody else. I don't really think so. I think it's all 5 of if all 5 of those guys go, then all 5 of these guys come back. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is a straight switch for these 5. I don't see anybody else on the list.
No. So it'd be Yu Chang, Hoyt Park, Castillo, Mitchell, and Bligh.
Yeah. For Yoshi, Van Meter, Newman, Gamel, and Marcano, with Marcano being the guy that helps out in the outfield. He's played a lot of outfield. He's played a lot of left field. He definitely can handle the position. He does it well. But if you have, if you have Sawinski, Reynolds, and Gamel in the outfield almost every day, then Marcano can spell those guys every once in a while.
Yeah. And I think this will be. I'm looking at Ben Gamel to get dealt.
So eventually, yeah.
And then Bligh would come right back up.
Depending on performance, sure. It would have to be an outfielder, so it would either be Mitchell or Madris.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, so Yoshi actually has all 3 options. He's not been in the league long enough. Van Meter has no options. Ben Gamel's a vet. He's already been in the league long enough that the options doesn't apply.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Newman has all options. And Tucapita Marcano has 2 options, this being one of those. So he's already been sent down.
Yeah.
So I could see Marcano maybe not getting that call up if they wanted to keep the outfielders. If they were saying Yoshi, Van Meter, and Newman are all coming up, well, you've got Van Meter, who's already going to be playing second base, and he could even, I don't really know what else. I mean, I know a little bit of first. Maybe does he play third at all? I really don't even know. But I think Van Meter doesn't. I don't know. Which of the 5 do you think does not return, if any?
What do I think will or won't, or who do I want
or both?
to?
Yeah, well, sure. But the whole thing, what do you got?
I mean, I'd like to see just let Yoshi go, but that's not going to happen. We signed him into a contract.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't see the front office giving up on him yet.
I know.
They need to.
Here's the thing about Yoshi. When Ben Gamel comes back, he has been taking reps at first.
Mm-hmm.
So he can help out with the Michael Chavis situation if he needs a day off. Gamble can play it for a day, but you're going to need those outfielders. Bligh Madris played 3 games at first base. I think if Gamble's there, I don't really know.
I think I did hear Shelton say that they were gonna possibly work him into first base a little bit.
Bligh?
Yeah.
Okay. I
Now
mean,
that you
that's why
mentioned
they
that, I
did it.
think yeah.
So then the other thing is Van Meter, who can actually play first base in those situations if they need be. So I think that there are situations where Yoshi can not come back.
For sure.
I don't see it happening. I think he comes back,
Yeah.
and I think that he plays first base, and I think that maybe Van Meter doesn't make it back. But
I mean,
that just all depends on what they think. It depends on what they think they have in Tucupita Marcano.
yeah.
Because you could send down Diego Castillo and Tucupita in this scenario and have Van Meter and get to see the at-bats you want to see from Van Meter. Not that me and you want to see, but what Sherrington wants to see. And have that depth.
Yeah.
And be able to call those guys back up. Where if you let one guy go and you go with those two, you no longer have depth. Or go with one of the, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I think when Newman comes back, I think he gets the bulk of playing time at second base.
Sure.
I just think he does. And at this
Yeah,
point, unless it's Marcano and he's hitting the way that he was, for me right now, before Marcano went down, Marcano is my second baseman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought he was playing well.
And I think right now, Diego Castillo, I don't know, man. I could see him going down and getting some extra because I like him. I could see them sending him down in favor of one of these guys in order to say, go play every day and get that swing figured out.
Yeah.
Because we need you. Because I think he's shown the plus. And I think he's shown the plus side to be a guy who doesn't have to play every day.
Right.
Who can come off the bench and be one of those players.
Yeah. It's what some people don't understand is that you're the guy off the bench and you only play every once in a while, or you only play twice a week. Well, I don't really care what your batting average is. And if you're going to show me that you can pop some balls over the fence, then when you're playing, you're effective. You're helping us out.
That's a good point.
I don't.
I care a little. I still care a little bit. Like he's shown a lot of struggle. I think he goes down to play more often in favor of Newman. That's my thing. I think that Diego Castillo is the Newman swap.
Yeah.
And I think Hoy Park is the Tucupita swap. I think they'll leave Hoy Park and wait for Tucupita. And I say this because it's right-hander, left-hander, left-hander.
Yeah.
I think Yu Chang is the Yoshi move. And I think Ben Gamble is the Cal Mitchell move. And in that scenario, I see Van Meter as my guy on the outside. And if they're gonna make it be Van Meter, it's gonna be Bligh Madris. And that's the one where I have a hard problem with. But you know what? I had a hard problem with that on opening day. I wanted Madris. They went and got Van Meter. It's the same stinking situation.
Yeah.
But that's it. And dude, we're not even talking about pitching. There's a lot of guys with you got Underwood, you got Peters, you got I can't even. Who else is on this list? Kranick just went, even further out, but
right.
Peters, Underwood, Zach Thompson. That's the one I wasn't thinking of. you've got those 3 spots. I mean, we're talking 3 pitchers as well.
Yeah.
Not to mention, we don't even know who's starting this week yet.
Right.
So they have a lot of decisions. There's still going to be a lot of moves coming. I don't know how long these rehab assignments are going to be. Some of these guys, if they play well, maybe it prolongs that. Is there a limit? We need somebody to let us know. Is there a limit on how long a rehab assignment can be?
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day, and I meant to look it up and didn't.
Yeah. Is there a limit? I don't know. After Anthony Bonda, a couple outings, I'm looking like Dylan Peters comes back. Bonda's got to go. I've seen enough from Cam View to see more of it.
Yeah.
That's our thoughts. That's your thoughts. Do you have anything else on that to add to that, to those guys? I mean, we're just talking about the hitters.
Yeah. You mean stay on the hitters or?
Yeah, stay on the hitters. Let's not dive into the pitching. I could, for time's sake here.
Yeah, I got you. And like I said, I think what we're talking about here with, say, Cal Mitchell and Diego Castillo. I mean, if they go back down, hopefully they don't take it in a personal or a bad way. But I mean, you guys, they could help us in the future. They could help us, within the next few years, and take what they know they need to work on now that they've faced major league pitching for a little while. Diego more than Cal, but still.
Yeah, I think Cal's an easy one, and I don't think that's going to be. I think that's an understood thing.
Yeah,
that Gamble comes back.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I think that's going to be the kind of the obvious move.
Yeah.
Diego, I think, is a little bit different. I think your point is well made with Diego Castillo because he's been there since opening day, and because he has had recent success, at least with the long ball. And you know what I mean? Like he's a confident dude. So if they're going to him saying, we're doing this so that you can play every day and help us down the line, I think it is going to be up to him to receive that.
Yeah.
As far as the other guys, it's like, no, literally you're not playing well enough.
Yeah.
With Yu Chang and Hoy Park. Hoy Park recently, right? Oh, wait. He's actually been a bench player. Stepped in for Key Bryan, hit a home run. That's actually it's actually fine.
Yeah.
He did make a nice pick and then sky a ball to first base, but the idea is that he's been fine off the bench. And so, that's kind of an interesting piece. Maybe that's what did I say? That was the Van Meter one? No, that's the Tucapita one. Because they could decide to say, Hoy Park's going to stick around a little while. We're going to send Tucapita to AAA.
Yeah.
And because it doesn't matter, because they can interchange those guys if things change. I think they could do that. Yeah, that's where I'm at. We're good with that?
I'm good with that.
What do we got here? Let's close this thing out. Before I go over the schedule for the week, do you have anything to throw in here?
Looking forward. Well, I had this to do with the schedule, but
that's all right. Let's do the schedule then, and then you can do it. But before we do that, I just want to say that Fernando Tatis Jr. is in the running for the All-Star game, and he hasn't played a single game this season.
Not okay,
dude. And this is all around. This is all around. The Pirates have these things right now saying vote Bucks, and I'm like, what? Who? Who are we voting for to go to the All-Star game?
Right.
Because, I mean, Brian Reynolds has not been an All-Star this year.
No.
So who are you telling me to vote for? I need to know. When you compare them to other guys.
Right.
We do not have an all-star right now. We might have all-stars of our team, like, oh, he's been really good for us.
Yeah.
And there's several guys you could talk about that. You know what I mean? Sawinski, Key Bryan, Michael Chavis, and then some pitchers too. But the body of work is not there. We do not have an all-star. David Bednar, but you don't vote for pitchers.
Right.
David Bednar is a clear all-star.
Yeah.
Outside of him, I don't think there is one.
No.
So with that said, I just have Tatis shouldn't even be on the ballot.
No, he hasn't played.
He shouldn't even be on the ballot.
No.
And he won't be eligible, but the fact is his fans are voting for them.
Right.
And that's goofy.
And that they're voting because they're like, oh, he's hurt. You know, he would be there if he wasn't hurt.
I don't think so. I think they're voting because they live in San Diego and they're just checking all the Padres. And they're all over the league. People love him. They see him on the ballot. They haven't paid attention to how he's doing, but he's a star, so they check his box. Yeah. The problem with that is if we had a guy worthy, he'd never get the votes to get in.
No.
It is so flawed. There's more people in New York.
We say that, but Reynolds and Adam Frazier got voted in.
Barely. They were not, only because of an injury. Reynolds would not have been in that game if it wasn't for Acuna's injury. Acuna got voted in. He should have been.
Yeah. But Frazier got voted in.
Did he? Actually, I forget that.
Pretty sure he did.
Okay. So I do say that, and then that did happen.
But still.
But I got a text Sunday on Father's Day. I got a text from a buddy of mine who watches baseball and has tuned into the podcast before. But he's not a Pirates fan. And he said, who is Jack Sawinski and why is he hitting a bunch of home runs? You see what I'm saying? Like if he had already filled out his ballot, he wouldn't have written in Jack Sawinski because he probably would have to.
Yeah.
Because he's probably not on the ballot. I don't actually know because shame on me, I haven't voted once. But mostly because I think it's dumb. And I talked about this last year. It shouldn't be up to me. Find out who's the best. Put him in the All-Star game. I get it. Fan vote, all that thing. I think there's a place for fan votes. I think there's some, but I think that ultimately they need to pick the starters. Whoever is worthy of being there should be there.
Yep.
That's my soapbox. What do we got this week? We got 3 against the Nationals in Washington. We do not know who's pitching those games yet. I think Shelton said we don't know who's going tomorrow yet. And the rest of them are to be determined as well. So I would say we'd have a bullpen game, but like we don't have the bullpen for that right now.
Yeah, no, that's tough on the first game of a series.
Yeah, you don't want to go first game of the series. You also like because if you do, who has it? DeYoung and Will Crow.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really have anybody else that's long guys right now with Peters and Underwood out.
Right.
So I have no clue.
Beatty could throw.
Okay. Bryce Wilson just pitched today, so it won't be him. And Yohei's not stretched out.
No.
Cody Bolton is going to have to require a 40-man move. I have no clue. Anyway, 3 against Washington. Nobody knows who's pitching. We should win that series. If you want to be better than one of the worst teams, you win that series.
Yep.
And then 4 against the Brewers at home at PNC Park. And now you can say your thing because it sounds like you were looking forward to one of those games.
I am. I'm looking forward to that Saturday afternoon Hawaiian shirt game.
I am too.
Man, that shirt looks nice.
Yep. I'm into that. I don't know if I'll make it. We're looking at it. There's some things that have to happen for me to get into town, but you're going either way.
I'm going either way.
So there you go. If you see Jake out and about,
Mm-hmm.
Yell at him. Fireworks Friday night. Sesame Street Day. Sunday. Whatever.
Kids get the little plush Elmo.
Dollar Dog Night. Dollar Sugar Dales, man, on Thursday.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good weekend to go.
Yeah.
July 4th weekend. They got the 4th off. And then, the Yankees are coming into town.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that next week. That would be good. Go Tuesday. Bill Mazeroski bobblehead.
There we go.
With the gold gloves.
I actually might have a game that Tuesday. I'm not sure yet.
And then just we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
We're going too far into that. Brewers coming to town. Kutcher's coming to town.
Mm-hmm. He'll get another standing ovation like he does every time. For the first game.
We did say we didn't know if we were ever going to be able to go see the Brewers play in Pittsburgh with him wearing that jersey.
Mm-hmm. That Hawaiian shirt, though.
Listen, Katie knows about the Hawaiian shirt. She's like, we can go get that Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
Wait till I tell her it's the Brewers.
Yeah.
I wonder if that changes her tune a little bit. I don't think she realizes because you know what I mean. They don't really highlight that.
Right.
They've been highlighting that Hawaiian shirt, that pineapple shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Best shirt Michael Chavis has ever put on. All right, man. That's all I got. You done?
Yep, I'm done.
Sweet. Let's go Bucks. Let's go Bucks.
Let's go Bucks.
Thanks for listening to my dad and Uncle Jake on the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2Buctober. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are released. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucks.